Hello, you brooding bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. After Tim Burton brought Batman back to his dark roots on the big screen back in 1989, the sequel would turn the grim tone to 11.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
Leading killjoy mums and lying little bastards like him.
The second time I saw it, when I saw the younger kids, I really wanted to tell them not to see this. It's really scary.
To make Warner Brothers consider a more lighter tone. And it worked.
Really?
Batman Forever was a smash hit, even with retarded shit like this. Then in 1997, Batman returned with Batman and Robin, and it was campier, hammier, goofier, more retarded, as well as more Batnipplier than ever.
Oh my.
It also dropped a big neon-lit bat turd, and with a nuclear shitstorm device on the franchise.
Fuck.
And with plans for a fifth Batman movie scrapped, it was looking like the franchise would remain buried in the Batcaves for a good long while. But in the early 2000s, there were still plans to do something with the character. One was a Superman and Batman team-up, which wouldn't happen for another 15 years, as well as an adaptation of Batman Year One directed by Aaron Aronofsky. But eventually, it was Christopher Nolan who was given the job as director after his success with Memento and Insomnia, and after 20 years, does his first take on The Dark Knight, before The Dark Knight still hold up. Well, leather-clad women and black-clad gentlemen, let's take a look at the 20th anniversary of Batman Begins. Released on this day in the UK in 2005, Batman Begins sees a young Bruce Wayne, played by Christian Bale, imprisoned in a Korean prison. He's angry, lost, vengeful, over the killing of his parents at a young age. But one day he is approached by the mysterious, not Ra's al Ghul, Henry Ducard, played by Liam Man with particular set of skills, Neeson, who tells him of the equally mysterious League of Shadows, and that it can help him become a bona fide badass who can strike fear into the hearts of the criminals.
If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, and if they can't stop you, then you become something else entirely.
Bruce makes his way to Ducard and his league, and one montage later,
We're gonna need a montage. Ooh, it takes a montage.
his training is complete. Not Ra's al Ghul tells Bruce he's ready to lead the League of the Shadows. Bruce is so excited right up until not fake Ra's al Ghul tells him he has to execute a prisoner and help destroy Gotham City.
The city has become a breeding ground for suffering and injustice. It is beyond saving and must be allowed to die. Gotham must be destroyed.
What a wanker!
Bruce chooses not to be a killer by causing an incident that gets people killed.
I'm no executioner.
He rescues Ducard from the wreck and returns home to Gotham to take on the ruthless crime lord Falcone by dressing up like a bat, calling himself
Batman.
My first choice was Batty McKickin-Punch. I'd have an upside-down guy and they'd go, "Who are you?" I'd go, "Batty McKickin-Punch." But they kept laughing.
But it turns out Falcone may not be the main culprit, as a plot to poison Gotham's water supply by the psychotic Dr. Crane, played by Cillian Murphy, leads to uncover more than what he bargained for. After the nipples-suited disaster that was Batman and Robin, Batman was back. No longer surrounded in camp silliness, the Dark Knight was the Dark Knight again. Gotham City was a crime-ridden cesspit again, and the story is actually well written. We are given a new spin on how Batman became the capable vigilante we know today. We're given more context into why Bruce was so driven to taking down criminals, and why he has to operate outside the law.
I came here to show you that not everyone at Gotham's afraid of you.
Only those who know me, kid. You see, two councilmen
A union official, a couple off-duty cops, and a judge. Now, I wouldn't have a second's hesitation in blowing your head off right here and right now in front of him. Now, that's power you can't buy.
This is a Gotham that can be beautiful to look at, but underneath the towering skyscrapers, it is a rotten, corrupt hellhole, where people who should be protecting the innocent are working with the very people exploiting the innocent. A city where you're punished for having a moral backbone.
Don't suppose you want to taste. Just keep offering, thinking maybe someday you'll get wise.
There's nothing wise in what you do, Flash.
Well, Jimbo, you don't take the taste. Makes us guys nervous.
I'm no rat. In a town this big, who's that a rat to anyway?
This is the perfect environment that becomes relevant to the struggles our characters are going through. Bruce avenging his parents, Jim Gordon and Rachel Dawes trying to fight the good fight in a system that punishes them for it, and it adds to Bruce Wayne's character arc. In the comics, his parents is killed by Joe Chill, just like here, and in some stories, he finds him and almost comes close to breaking his no-kill rule. But here, Wayne is robbed of his vengeance and is unable to find closure, making him angrier, more lost. But his little conversations with Rachel, Alfred, as well as his time training with Ducard, wakes him up from his selfish obsession and puts others first by getting to the root of the problem that caused people like Chill to do what he did. That is such powerful storytelling. Christian Bale does such a good job as Bruce Wayne, conveying the anger and guilt that plagues him, while also showing to be a pretty good Batman.
Where are you?
He captures the brooding stoicism of the caped crusader and can be surprisingly intimidating. Occasionally.
Where were the other drugs going?
Yeah, the voice did get ridiculous as the Nolan trilogy went on, to a point it became a fucking meme.
Where are they?
So that's what that feels like.
But they kept laughing.
But here his voice sounds about right.
I don't have the luxury of friends. I'm gonna give you a sedative. You'll wake up back at home. When you do, get these to Gordon. And Gordon alone, trust no one.
Occasionally.
I'll look into it.
But they kept laughing.
Even though Michael Keaton was the better live-action adaptation, Bale is more faithful to the source material, even down to the moments where, in public, he pretends to be a self-centered playboy that cares only for getting drunk, driving flash cars and shagging supermodels. And as for the suit, I still prefer this over the very busy-looking one in the later movies. Yeah, the next suit is more practical and tactical and realistic, but when you look at the suits worn by Keaton and Affleck, they both had a very simplistic look that was both subtle and effective. And the scenes where we get to see how Bruce gets what he needs to assemble the suit, and how the suit works, and how he got his Batmobile, are really cleverly written.
So what do you think?
Does it come in black?
I even like how the Batcave was already there as a way to transport freed slaves hundreds of years ago, unlike Keaton's cave, which led to more questions from Family Guy.
Look, you can't expect to hire 60 workers to dig a cave under your house and then keep it a secret.
But man, you got to admire the fact this movie doesn't fuck about. Michael Caine is well cast as Alfred. He's loyal, wise, caring, and he convinces as a surrogate father figure to Bruce Wayne.
With all due respect, sir, Wayne Manor is your house.
No, Alfred, it's my father's house.
Your father is dead,
Well, this
Master
place is a mausoleum. If I have my way, I'll pull the damn thing down brick by brick.
This house, Master Wayne, has sheltered 6 generations of your family.
Why do you give a damn, Alfred? It's not your family.
I give a damn because a good man once made me responsible for what was most precious to him in our world.
He supports Bruce, helping him out on his pursuit to fight crime, but isn't afraid to call him out when it looks like his obsession is at risk of putting him in danger.
You have a name to maintain.
I don't care about my name.
It's not just your name, sir. It's your father's name. And it's all that's left of him. Don't destroy it.
And I do buy the relationship. I even buy the relationship Wayne has with Gordon, played by Gary Oldman, Lucius Fox, played by Morgan, like a Twinkie Freeman, and even Rachel Dawes, played by Katie Thank God I Divorced Tom Cruise Holmes. Gary Oldman is still the best live-action Jim Gordon. He captures everything right about the character, the honesty, the humbleness, the kindness, the altruism, as well as the toughness. I've been a big fan of Gary Oldman since the film, and this shows he could play anything back in a time where he was pretty much typecast as the psycho. He looks the part, plays the part, and more importantly, he is Jim Gordon. And it was also good to see a live-action Jim Gordon not being seen as a bumbling fool. Sorry, Pat Hingle. Liam Neeson is also good as the mysterious Henry Ducard, who's totally not Ra's al Ghul, I mean Ra's al Ghul. The moment he shows up, you know this guy means business. He sells the intrigue, the experience, ruthlessness, as well as being a very convincingly wise mentor. Changing the origin of him training Wayne on how to use stealth, strategy, theatrics, as well as brute force makes sense. He's part of an army that can do damage efficiently and effectively while still remaining hidden, just like Batman.
Theatricality and deception are powerful agents. You must become more than just a man in the mind of your opponent.
The always likeable Morgan Freeman is also good as Bruce Wayne's gadget man, Lucius Fox. He's smart, intelligent, and him and Bale do add levity to the dark storyline.
Nomex survival suit for advanced infantry. So, what's your interest in it, Mr. Wayne?
I want to borrow it for spelunking.
Spelunking.
He sells the loyalty, and always, he excels in explaining enough exposition to earn more freckles.
It's called memory cloth. Regularly flexible, but put a current through it. Molecules realign, becomes rigid. I analyzed your blood, isolating the receptor compounds and the protein-based catalyst.
Katie Holmes actually does do a good job as the grounded Rachel Dawes, who, despite looking like she's 10, does sell the strength and willingness. I know, I might be the only one who thinks this. People give a shit for how young she looks, but I thought she was actually pretty fucking good. And just like Alfred and Lucius Fox, she helps ground Bruce, helps him see past his pain. She's the one that makes him realise he's not the only one suffering.
Look beyond your own pain, Bruce. This city is rotting. They talk about the Depression as if it's history, and it's not. Things are worse than ever down here. Falcone floods our streets with crime and drugs, preying on the desperate, creating new Joe Chills every day. No, Falcone may not have killed your parents, Bruce. He's destroying everything that they stood for.
And about the friendship these two have. I just didn't feel a romantic aspect between them, especially when she, out of nowhere, turns into a cock tease.
Then I found out about your mask.
You lousy minx!
Linus Roach also does a good job as Thomas Wayne. The dude even looks and speaks a little like Christian Bale, which I thought was perfect. He sells the warmth, the kindness, and getting to know him does make his death more impactful.
Don't be afraid.
It's a shame that we didn't really get to know Martha Wayne. She's kind of just in the background and has like one line.
What's wrong?
Which is a shame because I've seen this actress in a few things and she's actually very good. Who knows, there's probably some deleted scenes there that were good but didn't make the cut because of timing or pacing, whatever. But what's an awesome Batman movie without an awesome Batman score? Especially one from Hans Zimmer, from kick-ass action, mystery, and of course, his own original Batman theme. And And while this was a well-written movie that really did the Caped Crusader justice, it does become a little less interesting once the plot involving Crane's fear toxin becomes the focus. It doesn't harm the movie, it's just a little less interesting. But I get it, you can't have a Batman movie where he barely does anything as Batman. Cillian Murphy is very sadly underused as Jonathan Crane / the Scarecrow, which is a huge shame as he is really doing a good job in the role and you can tell he's having fun.
Would you like to see my mask? I use it in my experiments. I'm probably not very frightening to a guy like you, but these crazies, they can't stand it.
They scream and they cry. Which is your day now?
Well, he's not faking. Not that one.
So am I the only one who thought the fear toxin hallucinations are hit and miss? Yeah, there's some good visuals that are actually haunting, but some of the others just have flashing eyes and blaring effects, and yeah, the animated series did it better, especially with terrifying, traumatizing shit like this.
Mom? Dad? Stop!
The late Tom Wilkinson is really badly miscast as Falcone, and I know he's a good actor, but if he was some Irish gangster made up for the movie, I would have bought him more in the role. But man, he does not convince as an Italian mobster.
Sometimes things just go bad.
Rutger Hauer, God rest his soul, is very sadly wasted as some arsehole Bruce Wayne is trying to save his father's company from. I'm also not fond of the then new Batmobile looking like a tank named the Tumbler, instead of it just being a kick-ass powerful car that looks like a Batmobile. Yeah, I get it's powerful, but look at this, compared to these. Even Snyder got that part right as well. Still, it's more of a Batmobile than Patterson's, I guess. There are also some plot holes. When Henry Ducard was revealed to be Ra's al Ghul, he reveals his plan, and it makes no sense.
You attacked Gotham before.
Of course. Over the ages, our weapons have grown more sophisticated. With Gotham, we tried a new one, economics. But we underestimated certain of Gotham's citizens, such as your parents. Gunned down by one of the very people they were trying to help. Create enough hunger and everyone becomes a criminal.
So what, you went out your way to corrupt a city and cause crime and poverty so you could destroy it just because it became corrupt, full of crime and poverty, and used Joe Chill as a pawn to kill the only people who were capable of saving it without resorting to such psychotic methods?
Stupid! Stupid!
Now here's my bastardized rewrite.
Fuck.
How about the League of Shadows didn't cause the corruption in the first place? Gotham was already rotten, Joe Chill was just a desperate criminal, the mob did control everything, which then led to Ra's al Ghul planning to destroy Gotham, hoping he could have Bruce execute the plan after he caught his attention. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Another plot hole is the microwave emitter used to vaporize the water to make Crane's toxin more of an aerosol. Wouldn't that vaporize people as well, since we're like, what, 75 to 90% water? Also, Bruce's no-kill rule is proper contradicted. I mean, he practically throws a red-hot poker next to explosives that actually kill people. I'm not forgetting...
If you finally learn to do what is necessary, I won't kill you. But I don't have to save you.
Well, that'll stop him.
Which is bullshit. Come on, you destroyed the monorail's controls and intended for it to crash and left Ra's al Ghul on it to die. That is still killing.
It was the early years. I was workshopping.
And people complained about Keaton and Affleck's Batman going full Punisher. action is absolutely terrible. The car chase isn't so bad, but Christ, when I see a badass kicking ass in a badass fight scene, I want to be able to make out the fucking fight scene. Okay, when he takes on his first criminals, I get it, we are seeing it through Falcone's eyes on what an unstoppable force he is. But the rest of the time, the cinematography is just fucking obnoxious. These guys worked hard to showcase their new fighting style called KC, and yet for some reason, someone thought, hey, let's shake the fucking camera and chop the scene to fucking ribbons and confuse the audience.
Stupid! Stupid!
The origin on how Bruce became Batman, despite being well written, does take the mystery away from the character. Say what you like about Michael Keaton, but Keaton gave us a more stoic Batman that showed a lot about him as a person without spelling it out.
You know, this house and all this stuff really doesn't seem like you at all.
Some of it is very much me. Some of it isn't.
He was socially awkward, he seemed miscast, which suddenly made him the perfect casting. He was a guy who looks like someone who needed to wear that heavy suit in order to be effective, while Bale's interpretation is spelt out without allowing the audience to come to their conclusions visually.
Do you still feel responsible for your parents' death? My anger outweighs my guilt.
Yeah, Conroy was just as much as an open book, but the animated series version was still subtle, like here.
The voice kept calling me Bruce. In my mind, that's not what I call myself.
What do you call yourself? Oh yeah, I suppose you would.
And while I respect Nolan for being one of the most ambitious directors, this is a problem he still never seems to learn from.
Love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends dimensions of time and space.
With all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about?
Stop spelling things out. Trust your audience. That's the job of the audience, to come to their own conclusions. It's got its dumb moments, and thankfully Christopher Nolan would improve on the flaws of the first movie, while also making aspects worse in later movies.
You never give it to an ordinary citizen. Where is it? But they kept laughing.
It's been 20 years since this classic came out, and I still love this movie. Yeah, it lacks the mystique and the style of the Tim Burton movies, but it resurrected Batman from the graveyard of nipple suits and ice puns, but showed the world that Batman wasn't dead, and that in fact his work had only just begun. And whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching, and do remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that bell in order to be notified. And if you wish to further support this channel, then the links are in the description below. But right now, that's me done, and I'm off to the pub.